think one thing, growing up in a minister's home and you're at church all the time, and of course that's ingrained in you to help people, and they're always talking about helping people, and almost like that's the highest thing you can do in life is do something for people. And if you're in that kind of work, you are doing the best work that there ever is in the world. And I grew up with that kind of sense, right? That helping people is the best thing you can do. And so I think it just is ingrained in me that I had that passion right from day one. And if you heard a missionary come and speak, or you heard anything, it was always about, wow, they're doing such amazing things and changing people's lives. I want to change people's lives. And it seemed more important than making a lot of money would be impacting people's lives. And you're asked the question, or you ask yourself the question a lot in life, like, what's my purpose on earth? Why am I here? And I think I heard that a lot in church as well. So when I think of what's my purpose here on earth, and if I die, have I left the world a better place? And I think that's just my goal, that I can, when I leave this earth, I can actually say I've left it a better place. I've left my footprint there, more so than even a carbon footprint, just my footprint in people's lives. That people would say, she made a difference in my life. And that's the biggest compliment that I think I could ever receive in life. And I've seen a lot of poverty. I've seen chronic poverty. I've seen what it can do to people. And I think no one in Canada, I mean, we're in one of the richest, probably the richest country in the world. And there shouldn't be people going to bed hungry. People should not be homeless. This is atrocious to me. It's not right. And I think those are the two things I would fight the most for, is poverty and food security. I never remember going hungry. But if I get hungry now, they talk about being hangry, that's me. And I can't concentrate at work, I can't think, I can't write a sentence, so I can't imagine someone having chronic hunger every day, day after day, day after day, never knowing where they're going to get their next meal. We were part of a focus group several years ago, and we were talking to people who have used food banks, and some of them were homeless. And what really hit me in those stories was people talking about how they had to look for food each day. They never knew how they were going to eat that day. And they were going around looking for food throughout the day. And people wonder, well, what do homeless people do? What do people do who aren't working? Well, they're spending their day looking for food to eat, maybe food to give to their family. And I just thought, people shouldn't have to do that in our community. And in Canada, this isn't right. Gandhi has said, the true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable. And I've always remembered that how we're treating our most vulnerable really tells us a lot about our society. So I think when I look at our local community, our province, our country, I'm looking at it through that lens of poverty, through that lens of food insecurity, homelessness. How are we treating our most vulnerable? We're not treating them very well. Sometimes it's not even humane. Our goal is that everyone would be food secure in Hastings and Prince Edward County, and we do that through service provision, community development, and social planning. So we operate 5 food programs: the Food Box, Good Food Box, the Good Baby Box, Community Gardens, Community Kitchens, and the Good Food Market. The goal of all of those programs is just that people can participate. It's not a charity model with any of our programs. We are using a self-sustainability model. So people are participating, we call them participants, because often they're paying for a baby box, or they're paying for their food box, or they're paying at the Good Food Market. They're digging and growing their own vegetables in the garden. They're putting in that sweat equity. So people are participating, but they're saving money. So we're helping them to save money. We know that fruits and vegetables are one of the most expensive things for people to afford. And so helping them to grow their own, or helping them purchase a Good Food Box for $15 and the retail value might be $35, helps them to stretch their dollar, helps them to eat healthy. So our goal would be that food would be more accessible, available to people in all throughout Hastings and Prince Edward County. I think if I was talk to young women today in their 20s, and when I do talk to women in their 20s, often I hear words like I should be further along in life by now. I should know what I want to do. I should be married, or I should have my degree or my master's by now. And I always tell them to just, you're young, take your time. And sometimes, like, it took me a few years to realize, oh, I do want to be in social service work, even though technically I was probably doing it on a volunteer basis. But it takes time for you to know yourself and to really learn what you want to do and to give yourself that time. You're young, you have energy, you have so much to offer the world, and there's so much to see in the world. And do it now while you're young. You don't have as much energy when you're 60, believe me. So do it now while you're young. Go to those places you want to go to. Do what you want to do, and don't shortchange yourself. And just because you're young, don't let anybody tell you you don't know anything, because you do. You know a lot. You know a lot of things I don't know. And I think that older women don't know. And we need to work together. I love working with people and women from multi-generations, because I think we all have something different to offer. Yes, I might have some more experience, but your experiences are different than mine, and they're more recent. And so I think working together is how we could solve a lot of issues in the community instead of fighting against one another. I think young people, young women are amazing. They have so many opportunities nowadays that we didn't have before. And I remember my older sister, who's about 10 years older, when she was graduating, it was like, be a secretary or be a nurse. Look at the opportunities we have now. We can be whatever we want to be. And so you have lots of years to do that. Hopefully you live a long life and you have lots and lots of years to do the things that you want to do. And give yourself that time. Step back and take some deep breaths and enjoy the ride. It's not all about the attainment of it. It's the journey. There's a lot to learn along the way. I love International Women's Day. I think it's a great day to celebrate women and grandmothers and mothers and aunts and sisters. We're, all of the different people that we are as a woman. And I love being a woman, so I love celebrating being a woman. And I think we have a lot of privileges as a woman. Like, we get to bear children, and that's like the biggest privilege in the world. And being a mom, and that now a grandmother, I just think, wow, these are like huge privileges to women. And I think just taking the time, taking a day to recognize all that is huge for us, because most of us are working and taking care of families and cooking and cleaning and doing groceries and. So we often don't stop and just celebrate the fact that all the things that we do, all that we are, all that we can be, and all that we mean to the world, and that we do have a purpose in this world. Also, a great thing that happened this summer is I realized I have a relative, a fifth cousin, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who was a pivotal person down in the States in the women's rights movement. She was best friends with Susan B. Anthony, and she did a lot of the writing that Susan B. Anthony then went and did all the speaking about. And she was quite radical. So it's been quite amazing to read up on her life. She married this Henry Stanton, and he was an abolitionist, so he was kind of, against slavery, and she's working on women's rights, and he agreed to take the word obey out of their wedding vows, which is huge back then. This is back in the 1870s, so I thought that's really cool. Her and Susan B. Anthony wrote the Declaration of Rights and Sentiments, which is the document that changed changed the fact that women can vote. So I really am excited about what women can do. We have power. We have the ability, we have the capacity. I think if we just work together, we can change the world. We are changing the world. So I'm excited about that.